Does anyone have out friends like this? I_am_a_mudcrab. I had a friend say straights are less evolved, and it truly felt like she thought being gay made her better than everyone, eventually going so far as to say I can't understand why anyone would ever want to be attracted to men and similar such. Good thing I said had a friend. It's Dax, these people don't even realize that they are doing way more harm than good, to everyone. Being straightophobic, what the actual word is if it even exists, just makes more straight people, who may have otherwise been not homophobic at all, not like LGBT people. Smirkleberf, okay, but is it though? Homophobes literally assault, rape, and murder people for being gay. Homophobia prevents people from getting jobs, adopting children, or marrying the person they love. Homophobes put their children out in the streets. Homophobia drives people to suicide. Heterophobia is just mean comments on the internet. There is no straight person who is murdered just because they are straight. Hate isn't okay. But it's just not equivalent. Polymathy 7 Heterophobia doesn't help LGBT people at all, and may make people more vulnerable to all the things you say. I'm pretty sure many homophobes haven't actually thought their attitudes through, they just learned and assume them to be correct. Having LGBT people confirming their prejudice through heterophobia converts them from passive homophobes into active homophobes. Smirkleberf, I don't like putting the onus on the oppressed class to behave in a way that makes the oppressor not want to hate them. If somebody is going to hate gay people for some pithy remark about straight people, they were never going to be an ally in the first place. Homophobes are gonna homophobe regardless. Polymathy 7 LOL, I'm not putting anything on anyone. I'm just explaining what happens. It's up to each person to decide if there's someone that should behave and who. Homophobes can definitely stop being homophobes and have stopped being homophobes. But chances are they will be more open to stop being assholes if taught properly. Again, I'm not saying it's up to us to teach them, or that it's our fault or anything. I am just stating the obvious: angry people are less open-minded. Big coffee energy, yay, no. Sorry. Heterophobia isn't something that we should be promoting, but it is not as bad as homophobia, considering that homophobia has resulted in the deaths of millions of people, and violence towards the LGBT community. Darth Margarita, I'm sorry, but does something like heterophobia really exist? I mean, those people you described in your post are a-holes for sure, and saying stuff like gay PPL are more evolved is just stupid and sounds kind of arrogant. However, I've always been under the impression that homophobia isn't just some stupid stuff that TikTokers say, it's more like gay teens being sent to conversion therapy, being kicked out of their homes, people being forced to hide their relationships, homosexual behavior being punishable by law in some countries. Homosexual behavior still being viewed as a psychiatric disease by many people, heterosexuals not having to choose between their religious family and their sexuality and their partner, and so on. No teenagers are being sent to conversion therapy for being heterosexual. There are LGBT-free zones in Poland now, there are no straight-free zones. It's just not the same thing. I get that this girl that OP talked about really seems somewhat entitled and arrogant, but, the word heterophobia just rubbed me the wrong way because, while this girl should definitely work on her attitude, her words aren't really comparable to the kind of bleak reality many queer people all around still have to face every single day. Stop quaking. Someone made a post on Twitter once about BLM explaining how white people can experience discrimination but not oppression. Oppression is the result of a historical bias, legislation, and other factors that still affect the present. Discrimination is current and a case-by-case thing. So white people can experience discrimination but not oppression. The same goes for gay/bi people and straight people. Gay/bi people can experience oppression, but straight people can experience discrimination. What the OP is experiencing is discrimination, which is really horrible, even though they're bi and secretly experience oppression as well, even though it's not the same as oppression. I_am_a_mudcrab well said. Everyone can be a bigot, but not everyone has the power to disenfranchise or use a position of power to discriminate against others. Doesn't make them necessarily equal, but is definitely something we should remember. Emo girl hours. How I see it is that homophobia is the act of discriminating against someone because they are gay, therefore making heterophobia the act of discriminating against someone because they are straight. However, homophobia holds a lot more weight and is a lot more common than heterophobia. As a comparison, racism is the act of discriminating against someone based on their race, but racism against POC holds a lot more weight and is a lot more common than racism against white people. But, even though heterophobia/white racism exist, they are not comparable to homophobia/POC racism because of the severity and history weighing down these terms. I hope this made sense. This is just the way I interpret it. DESI235 I do not want to believe that something like heterophobia exists because it's a term that homophobic straight people have used to label their inequality, like not getting parades, and an entire month and so on. Many things that LGBT folk have worked so hard for. I don't want to enable a word like heterophobia because it's already used to undermine people that use the word homophobia. But being unnecessarily rude to straight people, especially if they are allies, does no good. If you see someone like this, call them out, whether they are a homophobe or being straight up rude. 2 hearts video burrito. I don't have friends like this, but I see this way too often, on the internet and in real life, just people I'm not friends with or don't know. It is so infuriating to see people mistreat the pride movement like this. If you ever wonder why there are certain stereotypes about us, that we're attention whores, mentally ill, never shut up about our identifications, etc., it comes from these people. They are the ones perpetuating the stereotypes. It makes me so sad to think that if I come out to some people, this is the image they will immediately get blasted into their heads. CrossFox17 had a lot of it when I was with my ex. She was bi, and her roommate/best friend was gay, and I was still 100% in the closet. He would make extremely inappropriate remarks, legit sexual harassment, comments about my genitals, etc. She would not confront him about it at all on the grounds that he might think I was homophobic. She also excluded me from her queer friend group. It was extremely hurtful. Samel stylist, this sounds like the 3 people I work with that I'm not out to. Hence, why I'll never be out to them, and I consider it a temporary workspace. Since I'm in a relationship with a man, I probably wouldn't be taken seriously anyways. I know those type people are not the people I get close enough with to know my sexuality anyways. Genderqueer, I am the opposite with my friends. They seem to truly not understand why we have Pride Month and that the Stonewall riots were so brutal and all that, even though there's 3 bisexuals and 1 trans guy in the group. Like, stop being bigoted if you want to keep your friends. Possibility famous 332 It was a friend like this who refused to listen to me and scoffed at me and told me, oh honey, you're not gay. Technically they were right, lol, I'm bi. And I took them on their word and was unable to come out to myself for another 4 years. I still get imposter syndrome tbh. Stop quaking. Acting like homosexuality is better than heterosexuality is a symptom of internalized homophobia according to rainbow-project.org. Heterophobia, putting down or even avoiding heterosexuals, is an example of reverse discrimination from some gay and bisexual people to heterosexual people. Feeling superior to heterosexuals, the idea that gay people are better than heterosexuals are. Examples include attitudes such as gay men have a better dress sense than straight men or gay men are better listeners than straight men. The friends who are insulting you probably have a lot of internalized homophobia, and that is why they are so rude to you just for being what they perceive to be straight. Being gay/bi is quite difficult and causes a lot of shame, so usually we try to find ways to feel proud about ourselves. Unfortunately for some people that can mean discriminating against straight people and acting superior to them. Some people are just joking obviously, but you can definitely take it too far and just be plain horrible to people who haven't done anything bad to you.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell to turn on notifications.